Welcome to episode 223 of the Lone Hockey Podcast. For today, we're going to be talking about some standouts between Finland and Canada in the Four Nations face-off, and obviously, you get a really good game. Canada now in the final with that win in regulation. That was a massive win for them, and the standings, and it was so close. Finland, they were just on the verge of a comeback, and you look at how well they played close in that game, and how they were able to come back late in the game and be able to get it close. It was 4-3, but then you get the empty net goal, I believe, it's from Sidney Crosby. So when all things considered, especially with how Finland played early on in the game, I thought they played better. They looked a little bit more controlled throughout the game. Early on, it was kind of a gong show. You just didn't know what to expect from them. It was kind of all over the place, but with Finland and how they play, usually they're a little bit more structured. I didn't think they were that structured early on in this game in terms of their effort and how they were contributing in many different ways offensively. And Canada was just rolling right from the get-go. And obviously, you let Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon get two goals right out of the bat. That's not the best thing to try and deal with if you're Finland, but they managed it well. They were able to, like I said, come back, and they ended up getting really, really close. They had two quick goals late in the third. I thought there were a lot of players throughout Canada who played really well though, and it's going to be Canada US in the final, which is also going to be sick. So we get a rematch potentially of what happened last time. I don't know if Matthew Tkachuk's going to play. I know he's out for the game tonight against Sweden. And so that situation is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, if Kachuk's going to sit out that game or not. And if he does end up sitting out, how Brady deals with it. But that's for the future. I feel like when you look at this game holistically, Canada just played really good hockey. Like they played with pace and transition. Obviously, they were trying to deal with the loss last game and the pain of that. So I feel like this was a added motivation to try to make sure that they can dominate Finland. And it looked like throughout the game, it looked like Finland wasn't going to come back, but it was just surprising to see how quick they almost did. And especially when you look at it, how they did it later on in the game. So when it comes to Canada from a holistic point of view, I thought they played really good offensively. You get guys like Braden Point, who's really noticeable. Anthony Cirelli, I thought Brandon Hagel, the Tampa guys were all really noticeable. Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nate McKinnon were buzzing, and I felt like McDavid and McKinnon were two of the best, and those guys really were noticeable. I noticed Travis Sanheim defensively in terms of physical play, shutting down line rush, shutting down transition defense, and just being able to play a heavy game defensively, which is needed, and Canada needs that. Thomas Harley looked good. Taylor McCarr looked really assertive offensively and in transition, and you get a lot of guys who are really needed to be relied upon throughout this game. And with Cale McCarr back, obviously that's huge. And I would assume he's going to play Thursday against the US as well, so we'll see what happens there. But when just the game overall, and even Jordan Bennington, obviously had a few slip ups throughout the game and later on, but I think overall he was pretty dialed in and he looked really locked in. And I feel like he's just been playing super well. And if he had the hot hand to start from game one, you might as well keep him in, right? So with Bennington, he looked really sound positionally. He was tracking pucks really well. I thought in terms of his upper body, he was locating pucks really well. His weight was really well distributed in terms of his feet and how he was setting his feet. And he just looked really calm and looked really in control of his play in the crease, which is good to see for the Canadians and how they were able to play. And how they're able to feed off that a little bit and be able to turn those opportunities into transition opportunities going the other way or whatnot, or being able to win D zone draws to be able to get situations out and get pucks out. But just from a holistic point of view, like I said, I feel like this was a game when you look at it, how it transpired late in the game, it could have went either way, really. And with Finland, they have a lot of good talent offensively, but I honestly did not expect a lot of their talent to be able to perform this game. Like it's just, I know we expect Canada to dominate game in and game out, but just when you look at Canada from an overall perspective, they got so many different nuances and balances on their line. So I was just surprised that the Finns they were able to manage the tempo of the game a little bit better. They were composed after letting in those early two goals, and they kind of fed off the game a little bit more as time went on as well.